Welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the expanded universe in chronological order. We are at the final book in the Darth Bane trilogy, Dynasty of Evil. It picks up 10 years after the last book, just like they all do. And this time, Darth Bane and Darth Xana are living in a mansion. Yeah, they're like posing as antique Sith. Well, they buy Sith stuff, like all rich people do, supposedly, because it's outlawed in the galaxy by the Jedi, so everyone's collecting it. So Darth Bane is posing as that, trying to get information on a long-lost Sith who basically found the formula for eternal life. And of course, Bane wants that. You see, he's getting up in years, and all the use of the dark side of the Force has taken its toll on his body. He feels as he's aging, his left hand is shaking more uncontrollably now. He can't control it now. It used to be like a tremor, but now it's just constant. He knows that Darth Xana has noticed it, but he didn't know why she hasn't challenged him yet. And he's concerned that she's kind of lost her will and that she's never going to challenge him. So he gets some information from a Sith dealer about the planet where Darth, I can't remember his name now, Abaddon. That sounds familiar, but it may not be it. But finds where he's at, goes to the planet, of course gets his Sith holocron, and the Sith holocron teacher will not give him the knowledge he seeks. He has to earn it, he says. Bane doesn't want to earn it, so he just powerhouses his mind into the holocron and rips out the information for himself so he can have it and study it on how to do Force Essence transfer. Now, of course, we obviously know about this because Palpatine, publication-wise, we already knew that Emperor Palpatine had this. But this is the first time we get to hear about this new technique, and Bane is interested in studying it on his way back. Meanwhile, he has sent Darth Xana on a mission just to get rid of her so she won't know he's left, because he never leaves this planet, supposedly. And Darth Xana is on a mission to find what happened to a bunch of miners and a Jedi. A Jedi was there trying to do some peace negotiations between the royal family and these miners. The miners feel that they've been treated unfairly, and they tried to kidnap the son of the king. Unfortunately, through an accident, he died instead. And so now the royals are really mad at the miners. So the Jedi's there to make peace. Well, during the peace negotiations, I think this is the very first chapter, someone comes in and kills everyone, including the Jedi. And so Darth Bane goes, we want to know who did this. Now, he doesn't really care. He just wants to get rid of Darth Xana. Darth Xana, as she's investigating this, she discovers a dark Jedi named Set Haith, who has stolen. See, the miners found some Sith artifacts, like some jewelry, and so he's kind of stolen that. He's a big collector. He's into rich things. But Xana thinks, oh, well, maybe he's helping me find an apprentice. You know, she's worried. The reason she hasn't taken on Bane is she thinks Bane is faking her out with that wrist thing. He said, no, that's a fake. He's trying to goad me into a battle too early. And because she just thinks Bane is really, he's always been a mastermind. He's always manipulated, and she thinks she's still being manipulated, which is credit to Bane's teachings, right? She doesn't know what's real and what's fake. So she thinks it's a whole fake, and she thinks this is all a setup. Maybe she thinks, oh, well, Bane doesn't think I can take on this Jedi, and he's hoping this Dark Jedi will kill me, and he'll make this Dark Jedi his apprentice. So all these thoughts are just going through, because it's all about deception, right? In the Sith symbiotic relationship. Now, Set is a guy with long white hair, we're told. He's kind of a womanizer. He makes cracks. But he does realize after a battle with Darth Xana that he can't win, that she is more powerful. So he decides to become her pupil, though he's not, he's not subservient. He's more sarcastic about it, like he'll add the word master after something real quick when he forgot about it, or he'll push the envelope just a little bit. Darth Xana is measuring him, going, well, okay, he's not that bad. He's pretty good. Maybe he'd be a good apprentice. And she goes, okay, we're going to go back home and kill Darth Bane. This is where it kind of, Drew Karpyshyn ties everything together. And I don't mind coincidence in the galaxy. Okay, this is one of those, whoa, what a coincidental moments, right? I'd forgotten how coincidental it was. I knew one. One was the princes on the royals planet, the prince, his wife, the wife he married, happens to be Caleb the Healer's daughter, who disappeared years ago. Caleb sent her away, said, don't tell me where you're at. And it's her. And I forgot that she was in this. I really did. I forgot that was in there. Her name is Sarah, or Syrah, or whatever. And the one that I did remember is that her, maid in waiting, or her keeper, her kind of, I can't remember an analogy to give you, but that one is Lucia. Lucia is part of the old Gloom Squad. I think that's what they were called, Gloomwalker Squad from the Sith Army back in the good old days when Dez, Darth Bane, led them to many victories. She was the sniper that watched Dez, get blinded and make all those great shots and basically saved the whole platoon. And so she feels, that she didn't know what happened to Dez. She thinks he died because he got court-martialed, brought before the Sith Lords, and that means, you're dead. So that's kind of revealed that it's Lucia from the very first book, 20 years later, which is nice. She's become friends with Sarah, and together they've been very close. It was Lucia who hired the mercenary to go ahead and kill a lot of people there. And she goes, well, when they go, because what happened was when the miners died, let me back up here, I just figure I'm getting ahead of myself. When the miners died, the king's like, oh my gosh, a Jedi died on my planet. Now the Jedi are going to investigate. Now this is going to escalate. Now the Jedi are going to be against me because they're going to think I retaliated against the miners and killed a Jedi in the process. And I did not do that. So he sends the princess, to go ahead as his daughter-in-law to go to the planet Coruscant and kind of smooth things over with the Jedi. She's happy to do that. She's well-spoken in words. In fact, she outmaneuvers the Jedi Master and gets him to admit that they shouldn't interfere, and the Jedi should let them investigate the planet. The royals should investigate the planet on their own. Which the Jedi Master realizes at the end he's been politically outmaneuvered, and he's like, I'm good in the Force, but not in politics. Which that's fine. Outsmart a Jedi in politics is one thing. To beat him in a lightsaber with hardly any ability, well, you know how I feel about that. But as Sarah is on the planet, the Jedi Master shows her a monument of some of the Jedi who have died, putting out, extinguishing the last vestiges of the Sith. And she sees her father's name, and she reacts to that. But at the same time, when she's hearing the description of the dark Jedi with one hand and hair, she's like, he was smaller. She's like, no, that is not the Sith. They killed the wrong guy. And she realizes that. So then she gets Lucia to hire her assassin to kill Darth Bane. Now the assassin is really cool. Goes by the name Huntress. She can see imprints of the past and muddy visions of the future. So she has some Force abilities, but she's basically untrained. She's skilled in killing and assassinating. And so she tracks Darth Bane easily. Now she asks for 10 other mercenaries. The lady gives her 20, gives her more than enough to take on Bane. When Bane returns back with the knowledge from the holocron, he gets attacked, and there's a big old drawn-out battle where a lot of them die. It's funny because right before Bane enters the house, one of the mercenaries goes, are we going to make it out alive? You can see the future? She's like, yes, sometimes. He went, do you think we're going to make it out alive? She went, some of us will. And then she flashes back to an image of that guy dead. Because he's not going to make it, but some of us probably will. Well, eventually they do take out Bane. They drug him with a special drug that was in Caleb's medicine shop. And the daughter showed the assassin how to make it and how to administrate it. So they bring him in, and she decides to torture him for a little while and leaves because she can't kill him. She wants him to suffer. Well, Lucia's in there with her, and Lucia realizes it's Dez. They turn him into a Sith Lord, but it's still my friend Dez. He owes, I owe him my life. So as everyone leaves, she real quickly gives him the antidote and walks away because she knows he's going to escape, but now she needs to talk Dez out of killing her friend, Sarah. Maybe Dez will listen because she's an old war buddy. Even though Dez doesn't remember her right now, but that's because he's probably drugged up. Of course, Xana comes back to the mansion, finds out it's been ransacked, eventually finds out where Bane has gone, uses her detective reasoning and clues to find that out, and then they travel to the same planet to break Bane out, but basically to kill him. Darth Xana's there to challenge him and kill him. When Darth Bane wakes up, he frees himself and goes on a massive bloody rampage until he's walking down the hallway. It's a great scene. Someone calls out, Dez, and he freezes. Like, he turns around and looks at her, and she's coming up to her, and she's saying, Dez, do you remember me? From the Gloomwalkers? He's just looking at her like, who are you? And this is what I love. his past has been so far buried in the back of his mind, it feels like an old dream. It feels like years ago, another whole lifetime. How many times have you looked back on your past and gone, oh my gosh, that didn't even feel like it happened in this lifetime. It happened so long ago. And it was a great analogy of how he's feeling when he sees Lucia. Like, he knows her. What do you want? She's like, well, I want you to save Sarah. He's like, no, she captured me. She tortured me. It's time for me to get revenge. I'm a Sith. That's kind of what we do. And as Lucia is begging, Bane says, well, why don't I just kill you right now? Lucia's like, fine. I mean, I owe you my life. You want to take it now? You can. Well, Bane hesitates for a little while, and that's when Darth Zana attacks. And she does this big force push that just, utterly obliterates Lucia, smashes her against the rocks and walls and everything. So she's smashed, crumpled, bleeding, and broken. And Xana's like, aha, you are weak too. You wouldn't kill her. And she thinks Bane's trying to break the rule of two. She has this totally wrong idea of Bane, which is really good. I like the misunderstanding that she came to, because it shows she's not fully there yet to be a master. But Bane doesn't have his lightsaber. He tries to fake her out. She knows he doesn't have the lightsaber. So he starts shooting force lightning. They start throwing things, throwing rocks and stuff at each other, doing different things. Bane's doing whatever he can to evade and get away, which he does. And Darth Zana's kind of pissed because she's like, wow, I couldn't even kill him and he didn't even have a lightsaber. Am I really, should I be called a master now? I don't know. So Bane retreats. He finds the Huntress. The Huntress has been waiting for him. She sees a vision of Bane. She wants to be his apprentice. She gives him a lightsaber. He gives her a name. Well, she gives her own name, Darth Cognus, because she thinks a lot. And so they fly off together back to Ambria, where Caleb died. Bane knows he has to settle things with Zana first, so he sends a message to her like, hey, Ambria, 12 o'clock, be there. It didn't say a time, but anyway, Zana's like, okay, well, I gotta take him down. Set, you're coming with me, but Set's not there. He hightailed it. He kind of went in, stole the holocron, the Sith holocron that Bane had. They had captured Bane. They captured his holocron too. Bane was too obsessed with trying to evade Zana or get his revenge that he forgot about the holocron. Or he really didn't need it. He got what he needed from it, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But Set tracked it down, found it. He gets into a battle with Huntress where they agreed to just walk away and go to separate ships, and so he escapes. And but anyway, Darth Zana is now alone, and so she goes to the planet. She thinks it's a trap, but goes, well, no, Darth Bane just wants to end this. So then the Huntress says, hey, whoever wins, I will be your apprentice. And she doesn't know. She has visions of Bane winning and Zana winning, and they go and have a big old fight where Zana usually uses her little mind trick to make people insane. It does fool Bane for a minute. He breaks through, but she has another little Sith sorcery trick up her sleeve, and Bane knows that he can't beat it, so he's got to go for the kill while she's concentrating on this. So it looks like it's like a smoke monster from Lost is how I read it. But it's hurting Bane, and so Bane goes to kill her. It doesn't happen. It slices off his hand, and then he eventually dies, but he tries to do a Force Essence transfer real quick. And then she realizes what's going on, and then they're both inside of her brain fighting. She's trying to get Bane out. He's trying to stay in and control her. After that, there's a big explosion. Bane's body has been totally disintegrated. A Huntress walks up to the smoke, and I remember this one really. I still remember this scene really well. Darth Zana rises, looks at herself like, I'm brand new, kind of walks, like, look at my limbs and everything, and she's like, Darth Bane? Because, did Darth Bane take over? And Darth Zana says, no, it's me. Now you're my apprentice. And so they kind of go off to the galaxy. However, there is a tremor in her left hand. Ooh. I know Drew Carbishin gave us some closure on whether Bane survived or not. At the moment, I should have looked this up, but I forgot if she did. But you know what? I like not knowing. I love speculating. We speculated about this on the forums for months. Was Darth Bane alive? Was he? And then was there going to be another one? That's what we wanted to know. And his contract was over for those, but Drew Carbishin always said, yeah, I'd love to do a Darth Zana novel, and we all wanted it. And you can see there was more to that story to tell, because Set Hoth, it kind of goes to him at the end. He's got the Sith holocron, and the Sith holocron is like, well, you got to earn my secrets. He went, sure. And he loves this, because now, instead of obeying a master, he can take classes whenever he wants in Sith sorcery. So he can decide when he wants to learn more about the Sith. So he studies on his own time. Now, I don't think he's mentioned in any of the books. I know in some of the role-playing books, Oh, I could be wrong here. I should look this up, but I believe he lasts 1,000 years or something. I don't know. I think he made it into the Clone Wars by just raising up clones and jumping into them. I don't think he's in any other book. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what I remember reading about. Either way, though, that's basically how the book ends. It's excellent. Still today, the trilogy is great. I stand behind my recommendation when I said, hey, if you're into the Old Republic, you need to read the Darth Bane trilogy first. It's fantastic. A fantastic way to start is the Bane trilogy, because it's 1,000 years before any of the characters you know from the movies. However, it just teaches you what a good story and what good, great, grounded characters there are. Drew Karpyshyn is an amazing author. This was so much fun to reread. Dang, kind of want to do it again. But I have to move on. See you next time.